Hold on a sec. Got to get my glasses. Hold on.
All right, welcome to Nephew and Uncle Basketball Banter. All you basketball geeks and freaks out there. Uncle Dave, it's been a couple weeks since the NBA Finals concluded, and obviously it'll be a memorable one because I think all ones that end in Game Sevens, I think you remember in at some capacity. So I think the NBA is grateful that definitely happened.
Yeah.
Game six, I think we kind of all figured Indiana would take care of business and get the win on their home
Yeah.
floor last game of the season, which they did. And then game seven, obviously, this will be the game remembered as Tyrese Halliburton hitting three of his first four shots, then blowing his
Yeah.
Achilles out. So it kind
That would
of,
have made a difference.
yep. I mean, and also I saw something that was kind of chilling. All guys with the number zero had a
I
blown
saw
Achilles.
that.
Damian
Yep.
Lillard, Jason Tatum. Yeah, so it just obviously number zero this postseason definitely didn't do good for guys, and it's the same type of injury too, which is even more scary. Obviously,
All wearing low tops.
it was kind of the Pacers. They have arguably the best player not in the game, and like you said when
Yeah.
we first started doing this podcast, that the NBA playoffs have been plagued with injuries the last. Ah, God, I think you had said right in the last like seven or eight ones that have gone on. It seems like there've been an unusual amount of injuries that have taken place. So this one, no different.
Yeah. And this year we started out good, but then it ended bad.
So I think I was rooting a little more for Indiana because I feel like the Thunder had a better chance of winning a championship. I think the Pacers now, Tyrese Halliburton's not playing all of next season. He's being sat down. So Indiana next year, yeah, figure you have a wrench thrown in that engine right there. You're just kind of going to be
Hmm.
evaluating what you're going to have for the next seasons. We'll see what happens with them there. But what was your assessment of Game 7? Obviously, Halliburton starts off great. And Indiana looks like they're going to be flying high there. And then when that happens, obviously the dynamic of the whole game changes.
Oh yeah. Well, it got ugly quick, and a lot of game sevens get to be blowouts because of the pressure is so great. They kind of like Super Bowls in that they're either really close or they're blowouts. It's never in between because what happens is as you're down 10, you put so much pressure on yourself to cut the lead, and all of a sudden it becomes 20.
Right.
And you see that a lot with Super Bowls. There's so much pressure in your head. You try so hard that sometimes it blows up quick when you make mistakes and you get outside of yourself, and those kind of things can happen to you. And it happened to them.
Yeah, it
I'm not,
gets
I'm not
exacerbated, right?
incredibly shocked.
Yeah, yeah. 10 feels like 20.
Well, we saw that happen even in the Super Bowl, like we just said with the Chiefs. We saw how quickly it went bad for them. And that's a great team.
Right. Team that's
All of
been
a
there and
sudden,
done that, it still happens.
they're,
Yeah.
they're down 10. All of a sudden, it's 20.
I think obviously this game, you look at the turnovers, the Pacers had 21 turnovers to the Thunder
Well, that was
7.
the series. And the
Yep.
team that didn't turn the ball over. Which
And
is not you can have all the fucking analytics you want with these analytical assholes, but you rebound the ball, you don't, and plus OKC didn't even shoot a lot of threes and they won. So again, analytics with these 3-point geeks, it's not that needed.
well, we saw the Thunder this playoff win a game only making three-point shots, I believe, right? So,
Absolutely.
we kind of can dispel that myth at times here. It's not
Sure.
like it's
Sure.
the game is whatever you make of it. So
Absolutely. You can win a million different ways. There's a million ways to
exactly.
skin a cat is the old expression.
Right, right. Not the most pleasant of terms, but it's the truth. And the
Yeah,
point
a
in the
million ways
paint,
to
I
skin
think
a
that's
cat.
what it comes down to, right? Turnovers, free throws, and points in the paint. If I win two of those three categories, I have a great chance of winning.
Yeah, well, I used to always say free throws, rebounds, and turnovers, and all my life I've been coaching that way. And if I win two of those three, I win
Oh
most
yeah,
nights.
yeah. If you
Of
win,
course,
if you get all
course,
three, then you definitely win for
yeah,
sure.
of course, shooting is the great equalizer in our
Oh yeah,
extenuating circumstances, but overall, two out of those three, you're gonna win.
I think the 3-point shot. I'm not downplaying it, but it's the quality of the looks you're getting and who is shooting them. I think that's we don't factor that in enough. You have to, and when is the
Again,
shot clock? When a guy's taking them? I think you have to
these
always
these
factor that
these
in.
teams aren't the Warriors.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Everybody's trying to duplicate Clay and Steph Warriors. You're not doing
Oh
that. You
no,
have
that
those
ain't
guys.
happening. Those two of the best three shooters of all time. That ain't
Exactly.
happening.
Exactly. This it's like pneumonia going through the NBA the last, since they really
Yeah,
got cooking, 10 plus
yeah,
years ago now. It's just you're not going to ever have that, backcourt, so stop trying that.
no.
What is your assessment now of what do you think Indiana now goes for Uncle Dave going forward with Halliburton obviously out for next year? If you're Rick Carlisle and you're the front office there, are you obviously the East? It's going to be interesting because now the Bucks with no Lillard, that's going to definitely factor
Yeah.
into their chances, and the Celtics are going to have no Jason Tatum probably for the whole season. So the East is kind of unusual now with Indiana going down. If you're the Knicks, the Cavs, the Pistons, and the Magic, you're feeling like next season it's wide open in the Eastern Conference.
Well, I know Indiana's trying to get Weisman, but he is a guy that has been injured a lot. Um, that's the rumor they're trying to get him. The kid from Memphis years ago. Played for the Warriors for a cup of coffee, and the Warriors, who were so height challenged, shipped him out. So obviously, there's something there if a team that has no size ships you out. Obviously, something's up. Obviously, no Halliburton. They do have T.J. McConnell, but I don't know if I think they'll be fine. I think the key is if they re-sign Nemhart, and they got to keep a hold of Toppin because Toppin's growth, as you've seen, Toppin grew a lot this year. They got to keep Nemhart, E. Smith, and Toppin. Obviously, Halliburton will be back eventually, playoff time. If you do rush him back when you're in the play-in game, I don't know if it's worth it. But they have to make that decision later. But if they can get Weisman and make him into something, I think they could be okay. Sad to see Miles Turner go.
Yes,
10 years,
guy
and all of a
was.
sudden,
Yep, he was the
and
longest tenured NBA player on a franchise that's active currently. So to see
and
him
you
go,
don't and you just don't know if he gave them a chance to top the deal. Obviously, they probably couldn't top the deal, but you'd hope that he maybe gave him a chance to top the deal. But a lot of times agents don't do that anymore. So I think Miles Turner makes him. He's not going anywhere with that backcourt. You can go out and sign Miles Turner all you want, but they have no backcourt. So Kuzma obviously coming in, I think could be a positive, but again, that team is not going anywhere.
yeah, I think
So
obviously with no, if we don't know what the hell is going on with Giannis Antetokounmpo and Damian Lillard gone,
no,
now that
Lillard's a free agent now. I
it's
think that's a
wide
good
open.
move, though. I think they did him a favor by cutting him loose.
Yeah, they did. They did. I think obviously who takes him now. It's a lottery ticket for sure. It's a wild card. We have no idea what's going to happen with that there.
Yeah, he'll come back and somebody will pick him up. And with modern day medicine, man, he might be good in the middle of if he gets to his first couple of playoff games, he might take off because he'll be rested. Let's be honest, his legs will be fresh.
Right, exactly. It could be and his game too. He's a guy who can shoot it from distance and he has a smooth game to him. He's never relied on being the most explosive guy and dunking at the rim or anything. So you figure
Yeah,
he could recover from that injury probably better than some other guys. So he'll
and that's why
definitely have a
Halliburton.
chance.
That's why Halliburton's staying in that game. They could have won that game because even though maybe he's not getting downhill because he's a little banged up, he's a guy that can stick it. Plus, he's that crazy guy. He's that guy that'll beat you in a big game because he'll hit five or six of them, and he already hit three of them. So he's the guy that could do that. You put him and McConnell out there together, McConnell finds him. All of a sudden, it's Swiss cheese the other way.
Yeah, I feel
And
bad for the Pacers. You lose a guy who's been an anchor of your franchise for so long, and Miles Turner, and no Halliburton next year. It's kind of you feel like you're in limbo and purgatory next season.
sure.
Obviously,
Well,
you're just looking for guys to play hard and see what you're going to have moving forward. I think
well,
it's so hard when you have a whole season that in the whole off season you're kind of just going to be treading water. You want to make something out of it. You have to try to find the silver lining in it and see
yeah.
what comes about it. But it's definitely
Well,
disappointing.
if I'm them, I put Nemhard a little bit more at the point, but I go out and I try to find a backup point. Maybe get on a Chris Paul if he's got another year. Maybe a Tyus Jones, people of that nature who can run a team for you. He'll do a solid job thinking the game because I think that's important. Let McConnell come off the bench still, or you come off the bench, let McConnell start. I still think they have the workings of a good team there. Obviously, they still have Siakam, who's Hill and Halliburton are their best two players. But yeah, if they can get Weisman to give him something, that's the rumor on the street. They might have even pulled it off today. I haven't seen it, but that was the rumor at 7 this morning. They were trying to get Weisman, so that would be a good pickup. I know he's been a crazy risk, but at the same time, this guy was very, very talented. So obviously something is up.
And then with the Thunder, Uncle Dave, they just signed Gilgeous-Alexander to this monstrous contract here. Obviously, with them being a young team, and
How
I
many years?
5 years he got.
Okay,
And
good. That's perfect.
yep, and he's still a guy who's still young enough where at the end of that 5 years
I
he's
like
still
that
going to be
move.
an
I like
excellent
that move.
player. Yep. So they locked him down, and obviously he's proven now he's got an MVP and a championship now to boot in the same season. So obviously his stock is major high, and he's the type of guy too. I figure he's not a locker room or kind of diva guy, so you're not going to have an issue with that.
No.
So obviously, I think their future looks extremely bright. This does not seem like a team that could be one championship and then the whole thing's blown up. Obviously, they're going to be in the mix of it for many years to come. They got
Oh
definitely a
yeah.
great culture over there. How do you assess the Thunder?
I will point out, I hate to do this, but like I said, we've talked about injuries so much. They're in a game seven with Denver, who had no bench and major injuries. And now Denver's
How
improved.
how
So
how how quickly does the script change if they don't win that one, boy?
Yeah. So the thing is, I think that Denver's going to be better than them next year because Denver's now gotten a bench.
Yes, we're going to go over that
I
in
don't
free
like giving
agency.
away Porter for Thomas, but at the same time, I don't know what the actual number swap is there, but they did add Brown and they did add Valjunas, which is just so important.
Yeah,
So they
we're gonna get
really,
into the specifics of those free agent signings. Yeah.
yeah. So I don't know how the hell they got away with getting them, but I think Denver next year is the better team. I think Houston next year will still not have enough guard play. Fred Van Fleet doesn't do it for me. You got to get some other guards. I will say that the OKC will be right back there again, providing they
Yep.
don't have an injury. Look at the Celtics. All the Celtics were down 3-1 when Tatum got hurt. But the other thing is, you got to, people, think this dynasty stuff gets thrown around like that. They've made it almost impossible for you to do that anymore. If you can get two in a row, that's almost like that's the max you can get. I will say that the Thunder will always be in it for a couple of years now because they got the big threes re-signed, and that's very important. And they've obviously Presti is a great drafter, so they'll see if they get some value. They're playing right now in the summer league. We'll see if they get some value out of somebody in this draft, which Presti seems to have a good feel for. So I think the Thunder will be right back there. Any all the comments we have to make are regarding that team stays healthy, of course.
Right.
So I
Barring
think the
that.
Thunder, the Nugs, the Rockets will be major pain in the ass, and I think Dallas, if they pick up a point guard until Kyrie gets back, will be a major issue.
Yeah. So obviously, like we said, barring injury, will obviously the Thunder, if they're in the finals again next year, none of us will be shocked. They definitely have all the pieces right
And
there.
San Antonio's got to rise with Wembyama's health. I think Harper will do a solid. Um, I think they'll be fine. So there's definitely some rising. I think the Lakers are stagnant. I think Memphis is really in a pickle. They give away Bane. Uh, obviously the West again. I didn't think the West was strong this year at the top, but I thought that the West had more depth. I said all year I thought that the East was better at the top. I thought there were four teams that could win the East, and two of them played against each other, and everybody thought we were crazy. Everybody thought it was going to be the Cavs or the Celtics. I didn't think it was.
And we'll have to see what
So
Minnesota does. Obviously, Timberwolves got to keep an eye on them too.
again, Minnesota though doesn't go sign guards. I don't know what the hell you're looking for, or who the hell's taking care of the rock. You're playing Mike Conley 22 minutes a night. Is that your solution?
No.
Either you got to play him 36 minutes a night, or get a goddamn other
And then
point
I hear
guard.
they're looking to move DiVincenzo. So I mean, what are you going to be having next
Yeah,
year?
I mean, and you sign Naz Reid, which I like, but you got to have guards. You can't have 55 D. It's like having 10 DHs. You got to have someone that runs your damn team and it can like make the breakdown, make the ball swing. You have to
Yes.
get the advantage to get a swing. If you don't get a swing, you don't get to reverse the ball and get that open three, which is so important today. So my point is, they have to get somebody to handle the ball and make some good decisions. I just don't understand it. I don't understand sometimes where these GMs go from. And
Right.
again, everybody treats these GMs like they're like these mythical figures. Some of them flat out suck. Like I said, I like the Minnesota GM, but at the same time, you got to go get guards, dude. Same problem Houston's gonna have. You can have KD all you want. You got to have guards.
Yep. That's
Fred
true.
Van Vliet's a volume shooter at best, with a lot of tread on the tire. Not gonna do it for you.
Well, obviously, the NBA, the free agency period right here. We'll get in, Uncle Dave, some of these free agent signings here. We're going to start with you have, first of all, we just want to also mention that Pablo Banchero, he signed to a 5-year maximum rookie contract extension. So
I'm
could be
telling
up
you,
to
they're coming.
287 million. But we've talked about how much we like him. So obviously, the Magic feel like he's the franchise anchor player and they're going to lock him down. So I think that right there,
Absolutely.
that's a big move right there. And you could just tell.
Wagner signed too.
He's got the body and he reminds me a lot of like Carmelo Anthony, his type
Yep.
of being able to score. So I
Yep.
think they've done the right thing there. That guy's
Yep.
going to be,
They
I
re-signed Wagner and they signed Bain.
yes, yep. So
And Bain's a two-way player
mhm. So obviously I like that move for the Orlando Magic, who next year I
too.
tell you, well, Dave, in the East that's going to be wide open. I think they're going to have a great chance. I think to make a deep
Them
playoff
in
run
Detroit.
next year.
They're coming.
Yeah, I mean if the Magic wound up in the Eastern Conference Finals next year, I wouldn't be stunned. That's for sure.
Me neither.
And
We can't forget the Cavs though. The Cavs
nope,
just had a hiccup.
nope, we're not going to. Yep, for sure. And Kyle Lowry signs to the Philadelphia 76ers on a 1-year deal. So, Uncle Dave, with the 76ers, do you think that their time has kind of come and went, or do you think that they can have another resurgence here?
Uh,
Obviously, they drafted Edgecombe, who looks pretty good in summer league here. Do you think that they have a
sure
chance
does.
maybe with Embiid to, maybe have
Well,
a
yeah,
second
I
second win
think
here?
with Embiid, you got to play 50 games and you got to have no back to backs and you got to get the key is Paul George because their backcourt now has you got McCain, you got Maxey,
That's the other thing.
you
Jared
got
McCain was very promising.
oh he
Obviously,
was
he
winning
went
rookie of the
down.
year.
So
He was winning rookie of the year until that happened.
absolutely, absolutely.
And then you have a kid like Edgecombe. They're loaded. If they could just find what they should do is pick up an Al Horford to
They
back
could be
up.
kind of a sleeper team, Uncle Dave. I think the 76.
Absolutely.
They sure
They
can.
got to pick up an Al Horford and they got to keep the big fella in 50 games if you could do it. No back to backs. 50 games and then see what can happen in the playoffs. And if you could do that, I think you could do some things.
I agree
Like
with
I
you.
said,
You need a backup center. You get like a Horford or a Porzingis. You need someone like that to kind of anchor down that backup center position there.
yeah, and I also think they're looking to Toppin from what I've heard. So the situation is, they just need a little more front court help. If they could do that and get that small forward position taken care of, or to give someone Paul George some minutes, some backups minutes there, I think that they'll be right back in it. One of my former players is a big time Sixer fan. So he's always in my ear about what to do and stuff like that. But it was interesting that they didn't take Ace Bailey, which shows you a lot about Ace Bailey.
Yes. Well, we'll eventually get into what's happened with him as well.
Jesus Christ.
But yes, so then we'll go down to also Uncle Dave, the Portland Trailblazers. They've acquired Drew Holiday, and the Celtics got Anthony Simons, which for the Celtics, I think that's the right move. I think with no Tatum next year, you need kind of a guy who's got some explosive scoring ability off the bench. Simons definitely can do that. This last season, he averaged 19 points a game. So he can definitely pack a punch offensively, and he shoots great from the free throw line too. He's going to be a guy that's going to come in and he's going to look to score and he's going to get some buckets. So I think that's the right move for them. And Drew, obviously, his better days are behind him, and he apparently was not happy with going to Portland. There's that
No,
situation
who the hell
there.
wants to go out there?
No, I know, right?
The city's full of radical idiots.
Right.
Plus, the bottom line is Drew gets disrespected. He helps you win a championship, and you ship him off. He does it every time.
Right.
And if I'm a team that's close, I tell you, you know,
He's still got
you
enough
know,
of the tank where he can help you push you over the top, like we said with the Bucks. That once they moved on from him, they were not the same team. It just
yeah,
goes to show you how great he was, as a glue guy and defensively, just fantastic.
yeah. I mean, but the thing is, if you go out there and if Indiana picks up a guy like him, or Houston
Yes.
picks up a guy like him,
Yep.
that's going to be everything. Can you imagine if one of those teams did that?
If you're the
I
Blazers,
mean,
you should honestly try to get him and try to get some draft capital or get a young player and see because obviously, like if you're Portland, what you really can't use him. He's not doing anything for you next season.
no,
So
and
try to
that's the
move
key.
on. Yeah. So
If
they
you could
could
find
someone
a
could get him
way,
on the cheap, maybe perhaps. Yeah.
exactly, and I feel like even a Utah could use a guy like him. They're young and they got the stud from Florida, but a guy like him could help a team that's coming along. He could help Detroit. He could help Houston immensely. I mean, they really need a guy like that. He could help Milwaukee. I don't know why Milwaukee doesn't get back in there. I guess Milwaukee needs a ton of backcourt help. I know maybe there's bitter feelings there, but there's definitely some help there that he could definitely provide for a team that's close. Maybe
Yes.
even a team, maybe even a team like San Antonio, a team that
Well,
you
that's
feel
the
like,
thing. If you're a guy like at his point in his career, you want to be on a team where you're playing meaningful basketball. You don't want to be on
yeah,
a
I
team
think
next
he's
season
the problem is
that's
he's
win 30
getting he's
games.
getting yeah, he was getting 30 million a year, which is probably a little bit much for what he offers, but you're not going to get him for the mid level. If you can maybe include another team or take some of that money yourself, I think that obviously that really kills the Celtics, with their prospects for next year. But at the same time, Drew's one of my favorite players. It's Dennis Johnson from 40 Years Later. It's the same player, probably a little better shooter than DJ. But Drew is such a great defender as a heady player. He's always been a big game player. So I'm hoping that somebody, maybe Portland might want him to help the young guys, which I understand from their point of view. But if they can't get him to buy into that, they should ship him out and get resources.
Yeah. I won't blame him either. Whatever position he takes, I'm not going to blame him at this point in his career for sure. He's always been
Yeah.
a guy who's done the right thing too. Then we have also Uncle Dave, a three-way move by the Clippers, the Jazz, and the Heat. The Heat have agreed to a trade that sends Norman Powell to Miami, John Collins to the Clippers, and Kevin Love and Kyle Anderson, and a 2027 Clippers second round pick to the Jazz. So the Clippers wind up getting John Collins, Kevin Love, Kyle Anderson to the Jazz, and Norman Powell to Miami. Now, obviously, I think the move that sticks out there is John Collins to the Clippers. I think that's the one that's probably got the most impact there because next
Yeah.
season the Jazz are going to be, a team that's going to be probably in the lottery again. Norman Powell to Miami. I think unless Miami gets some splash free agent like Giannis Antetokounmpo, I don't see them really being anything next year
Right.
either.
Yeah, well, you see that Utah the other day played Ace didn't look too good. Filipowski looked great, but Ace was 3 for
Yes.
13.
Yep. Kyle
But
Flipkowski looked excellent.
at the same time, they got the stud from Florida, so I'm thinking, they're going to struggle, but they're going to there'll be some decent games in there for them. But maybe they're looking at Love to dump them. Maybe they took
Oh
Love
yeah,
so
I
they
don't
could dump
see
him
them
on.
unless it's a mentor type of role. I don't see them hanging on to him. Maybe, yeah.
Well, they're going to look at Love as a
If you're the
professional.
Jazz, though, all you're looking for if you're a team like that is just to be competitive next year. Just try to be as competitive as possible and see if you
Yeah,
can
and
grow
you're
and build
looking to
something.
let those guys get reps. Maybe Love's the professional that you need. Maybe Kevin Love is a solid citizen. We all know that. He's a guy that maybe in Utah will
Yeah,
he
you're
could
looking for
lead
a
you in the
guy who
locker
is
room.
like James Johnson for the Pacers this year. To have an old vet around, I think that helps a team in a locker room immensely.
Yeah. Well, he's got to maybe helps a guy like Ace Bailey and maybe maybe helps the younger guys and Filipowski and these guys and puts gives them a good view of how to be a pro, how to go about your business, share some secrets obviously and go from there. That's if you're the Jazz, that's all you can hope for because right now the West just kind of loaded up again.
Right.
And so now if you're like it's so funny, you see this in many sports. I hate to talk about football, but if you look at where the New York Giants are right now, football, the division is so good right now. It's like it almost doesn't matter what you do. You're the fourth best team in your division. So that means that you're going to have three teams ahead of you. So you're not making the playoffs. So what is your goal if you're the Giants right now? So just to talk about what the Jazz goal is, like what is your goal to do? So
Just be competitive and play hard and try to build something. That's really what you're
yeah,
looking to do.
but that is
I
that
don't have a
is
number as far as games go next year. It's just more of so of the mindset and how the guys play on the floor. I think the
yeah,
intensity, camaraderie.
and I always say that when you're a really young team and you're not going anywhere, you gotta play a style. You gotta have a style. Maybe you play 9 or 10 guys and you
Well,
go
that's
up
the
and
thing.
down
I
and you
think you got to
play.
keep these guys active. I think you have to play maybe up tempo and try to keep them engaged that way. And you let them know coming into the off season, these off season here. It's not about the amount of games we win. We're just gonna just play our asses off and see what we got.
Yeah, we're gonna play the right way. We're gonna build, and a kid like Ace Bailey, he's probably the best shot maker in the draft. When I say that, I mean like bad shot taker and maker. He'll make them. So down the stretch of games, if his head is in it, he can be dangerous. He is six. He's like 6'9", 6'9.5", and he's like a poor man's KD in a lot of ways. He is very talented, but he's just a little bit of a guy that doesn't seem to want to be there every night. But he's talented as the day is long.
Yes, no doubt. And then Uncle Dave, what you talked about, Denver Nuggets with Jonas Valanciunas. This is the move I think you were talking about
Oh
that they
my
needed. They need
God,
backup center. I
that's
think that's an
how the
excellent move
hell
for
did
them.
they get him for what they have to spend to get that?
Really
I
nothing. They
mean,
just basically they
yeah.
bought him out. Yeah.
Yeah, who the hell gave up Valanciunas that easy? Valanciunas, then in the playoff game, didn't he put up 30 like this year in a playoff game?
I think you're thinking of Zubac.
Yeah, that's right, Zubac. But Valanciunas is a good player on he's been just a good player for many years. I mean, and then you go out and you get Brown back. I mean, oh my goodness. I mean, Jesus Lord, like they got and you get the kid Thomas. I mean, good Lord. I mean, this Jesus, they got a GM who should have been fired this year saved his ass because I tell you what, if you can keep Aaron Gordon healthy, like I said, I don't know about Thomas or Porter, but at least you got something back for Porter. I like Porter better, but Porter maybe maybe there's something going on there with all the gambling stuff in the family, and who the hell knows? We don't get those informations, but the bottom line is, obviously Thomas is a talented kid, but at the same time, Aaron Gordon, Joker. I mean, they were looking at Al Horford too. I knew for a while because I've been all over this. I'm following it every day. They were looking at Horford, and Horford was talking about maybe getting a chance to play with a Joker. But now you got Valanciunas there. I mean, you could go high low with those two guys all day, even for a couple of minutes. But Aaron Gordon being healthy, you got to keep Murray healthy. If they could find a way to just get a little bit better at that backup point spot, did they keep Russ or no? Is Russ gone?
Well, I think that yeah, he's pretty much out the door. They don't know if they're keeping him. It just sounds like it's inevitable that he's going to be not with them
Yeah,
next
so
year.
so Russ would have been good as if they could keep him at like a a mid-level to run backup point because you play 8 or 9 guys, that team had no business being in there with OKC, no business. And here you are, you're right there, and Aaron Gordon gets hurt. Porter's already playing hurt. You really could have won, and they had no business. That team had 6 players tops, and so this is going to be Denver a totally different look. And I, goddamn it, if I see Joker playing 42 minutes tonight, I'm going to strangle somebody. I don't want to see him. I want to see him playing 36 minutes a night. Period.
Yeah, I think it's a move that they need. They needed some because when he went to the bench, Jokic, it was glaring the center position for them. DeAndre Jordan was just he could tell he's just an assistant coach and a mentor role right now.
Six
Definitely,
minutes a half.
yeah,
Six
exactly.
minutes a half. He gets off.
So
He takes the last three of the first
Valanciunas
quarter.
Valanciunas as a scorer though, and a guy who's got good hands and a good post game and is good around the mid range. I think that's an excellent move for them. So Jokic definitely gets some much needed rest
Sure
time when
is.
they need that. So I think he's been an excellent player over the years. And I don't believe Uncle Dave, he was playing in Greece this last year, so they got him
Yeah.
basically for nothing here.
Yeah.
That's a good move, I think, for them. And then Uncle Dave, the huge news: Kevin Durant going to the Rockets.
Talked about
And
that.
yep, and we talked about the teams that were on the potential list there. Going back to
Gave
the
up a good player
Warriors.
though.
Yep. So
Green's going to be a player.
yep, I think him going to the Rockets, obviously it makes them a serious title contender. Obviously, what you said with the guard play, I think that's the big thing right there with them. That's the great unknown. How will they manage that with the backcourt? But obviously, if you have Kevin
I'm a little
Durant on a
concerned with
team,
their spacing.
yeah, Kevin Durant on a team
What
that made the playoffs, obviously
what's
they're
Sangoon going to do? Where's Sangoon going to play from with Kevin Durant on the court?
well, do you play maybe him at center now? Do you play small ball and put him at the
Right.
post and go
You
four
could.
out?
You could. Today's game, you could do that.
That's what I think that's what they're going to lean towards, I
Yeah,
think.
not many centers are going to make you pay today. You could
And
do
I
it.
think Sengun is the type of guy you don't need. It's not like you're worried about being undersized with him out there. No one really has a scoring
No.
center, so you don't have to worry
Nope.
about that.
Nope. You're right.
So I think
You're
that's
right.
probably what the lineup will look like next year. Kevin Durant at stretch four and Sengun at the five.
Sure. And you could definitely get away with that in this world today. I mean, think about it. You go play a team like Sacramento, they're not big. The Warriors are midgets. I mean, it's just there's not a lot out there. I mean, Joker's really the only traditional center in size sense. I mean, obviously he doesn't play like a traditional center, but in the sense of size, he's the only guy you'd have to deal with, and it's that's 3 or 4 times a year.
Also, Uncle Dave, what's notable, Clint Capella is going back to the Rockets. He was with the Hawks, so I think that's a nice move for them as well. Houston gets
And now they got so much front court depth. You know, one of these guys is a piece for a guard. Have to be.
yes,
You have to be.
you have Sengun and Capella. If you have that, I mean that looks excellent right there. But like you said, you might want to auction Capella off for, like you said, a good backup guard.
I love Capella. I thought that the Hawks gave up on that way too easy, and I also thought that the Rockets, the first time, never should have shipped him out. This is a guy that's a good defender, very good defender. He's a lob catcher. That he's like he's a poor man's Tyson Chandler, and he's a good player. And that's a guy that you could win with. And I thought that many teams, really missed out on a guy like this. And that's how I feel about DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton was given up on just because they moved him doesn't mean he sucks all of a sudden. And this was a guy that because he got moved, he went into like the Serbia, not the Serbia, he went into like Siberia of Russia there, and basically we got like banned almost like from being effective. Now the Lakers take him back, and obviously he's not the greatest defender, but he is a good defender, and so it gives the Lakers a little size.
And they re-signed
So
Jackson Hayes as well.
right. So I mean, like you got to. I mean, I'm puzzled by signing that wing. I mean, you didn't need another slow wing. At the same time, they need to go get a point guard themselves. I don't. Again, I'm confused by these GMs. Rob Pelinka better be careful. And then of course, bitch LeBron. We talks about why do people hate LeBron? This is why people hate LeBron. He's like, I'd never seen a guy in professional sports who had to make everything about himself, and he's it. And so he has to float out conspiracy theories and like, get his son in the league. I mean, no wonder why the guy's just, you
Yeah,
can't be considered the
he might
greatest
not
of
play
all.
for the Lakers this year. He might
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like now you signed in a 52 million dollar deal, and then you say that? How about saying that before you signed a $52 million deal? But again,
that's what Brian
Tom Brady
Windhorst
took
was saying. Yeah.
Tom Brady took less money. If you're about winning, LeBron, then take less money. If you're not about winning, then shut up
Right.
and just admit you took the money. So you and Luca, who can't guard me, you're not winning. You got those two guys, you got Reeves, and now you picked up the other slow wing. I mean, you're not winning. You're not winning with that. You can go get all the old guards you want, but none of you can defend, and you're not winning in that league. You're
No,
just not.
there's at least three teams at minimum that are better than the Lakers in the West right now. There's no
Yeah,
doubt.
but you know what? They'll come out and they'll be a 3 or a 2 seed or a four because they'll win games because LeBron and Luca can, force double teams. And again, we've talked about this over and over. A team gets off the plane on a Wednesday and they got to play them on a Thursday. There's not enough time to go over every little action. Of course, they have the film and the ability to do it, but the players do not lock in like it's a playoff series. And so, sure, you win during the regular season. But again, those are totally different things. Now, winning in the regular season has become cheapened over the years with all the load management.
That's why you
And so,
mentioned also the upsets now, numbers wise with the seating now. It's really
absolutely.
not the seating is
And
not
you
as
see
true
it.
as it used to be. Yep.
Yeah, we just had a four in the NBA finals. So I mean, you don't see that. It wasn't a common thing. And so now you're seeing it all the time. And what's happening is, you just cheapen the games during regular season. So the Lakers, yeah, they're not going to be in the play-in, but you know what? They have enough guys who can isolate and win games. But when you give a team 2 weeks to prepare, you're taking you right out of your shit.
Yeah. So they could win 50 games next year, and like you said, in the
Oh,
playoffs,
they
it kind
will.
of doesn't mean
What were they?
anything.
They were the two
Yeah.
seed this year, weren't they? Or the three? They were
The-
the three.
yes, I believe
Yeah,
they.
and they got their ass kicked. So they could be the three again and get their ass kicked again. They're going to get smacked. It's not going to work.
And then Uncle
You
Dave want
can't
to
guard.
mention that the Denver Nuggets also they signed Tim Hardaway Jr. to a 1 year deal, and I think that's a
Tim
great
Hardaway
signing
Jr.,
as
a
well.
good pickup, a
Yep, that
good
is.
pickup at the right
It's
price.
a guy. It's a guy who can come off the bench and sometimes give you 20 points. He's one of those guys. He could be a microwave. This guy and light it up. So, I think
And
that's an
can him
excellent move
or
for them.
and can him or Brown maybe give you some backup minutes at the point because you really got to watch Murray's minutes.
Right. You needed what was missing, I think, from the Nuggets was you just need an explosive scorer off the bench, and this guy can certainly
Well, we
do
know
that.
that Hardaway will take every shot he can if he gets
No,
it.
Tim Hardaway, he'll pull it from 35.
Yeah, he thinks he's his dad, but he isn't.
Yeah, yeah.
But
He
and
can
then we
score though.
got
He
to
has the
talk
ability.
about
He's a guy who could just be the best player on any given night because he's ability to just hit the
now. I
ball and
think
get
the
to the
move
rim.
that's getting very underrated here, and I got moves that I tell you, I think the Hawks moves are overrated. And if the Knicks finally ink the kid Clarkson or not?
They did. They did. Yes.
Oh, that's a fucking huge. People are not thinking about how
That's a
good
great
that
move
move
as well
is.
for them. That's a good move off the bench for sure.
Not only that, that's a 20-point scorer off your bench.
Yeah. And they got
Nobody has
Yabusele
that.
as well.
So I mean, if you put him in there, I mean now you have 7 or 8 guys, and now you're cooking with gas. And of course, we talked about Mike Brown way back, and I think that's the best hire you could have had since you screwed over
Yes, it's
Tibbs.
funny. We were talking about obviously the next coaching search. I think the last pot or two ago, and we meant Mike Brown was the guy that you were thinking at the forefront right there, and
Yeah,
they just
because
signed
Mike
him.
Brown is shown he's a player's coach. He's been a very good assistant.
And I got
He's
news for
also
you,
been
folks. He was doing really well with the Kings. I thought he got screwed on that one right there.
totally got hosed.
Yeah,
They broke apart the roster down the end of the season. And what do you expect?
yeah. I don't know what he. I thought he
Mike
was doing
Brown's a
a
good
great job,
coach.
honestly. Yeah, so I think he'll. That's a good signing. I think that's as good as you're going to get. I know they were trying to poach coaches from franchises that are already under contract. So
You're Jason Kidd. You're like, I'm getting Cooper Flag. I'm not going anywhere.
someone had a funny quote. They were like, "Hey, why don't you just apologize to Thibodeau and bring him back?" I said, "Yeah, that's honestly not a bad
You
looking
could
move
do
right
that.
now."
I thought about that myself.
So they land
But you
Mike
know what?
Brown. And
I
I think
still
that's a
think
good
the
move as
Hawks
well.
moves are overrated. Porzingis is not healthy. This virus thing, you can say all you want. It's not a big deal. That's a problem. It's not like it's a shin or a hamstring. You can put a finger on that. No one knows what the hell this thing is.
Hmm.
Plus, again, they need more guys shooting jump shots besides Johnson, Trey, and him. 3 more guys that won't ever play any fucking
And they
defense.
signed Luke Kennard as well, Uncle Dave as well.
Yes, I like that pickup. I will tell you that the other team that I like what they're doing is Toronto.
Yes, yes.
Toronto's added Ingram, right?
Yep, and Jacob Podol.
Got Scotty Barnes, got Podol, who's on the dark side of it, but you got Ingram. They got some players there. If they could ever shake a couple more guards out of this, I think they could do some things. Toronto's gotten better. Ingram's got to stay healthy, though. This is getting to be a
Plus, you have a
disgrace
young guy,
level.
Uncle Dave, still in RJ Barrett. You have got that's a guy who maybe has
Absolutely.
another level next year.
Yeah,
You have
this
to
has
see what
become,
happens.
and you can see how few teams have a post player. It's really amazing.
It is,
They have
yes.
modern day post players, which means they're like 6'9". But the other thing is, like I said, the Knicks move is great. I think the Hawks moves, I don't see it. I'm not that excited by the Bucks moves. I know why Giannis wanted Miles Turner because Miles Turner can shoot that three and that'll create space for Giannis. But at the same time, they need some more size. Brooke Lopez, where he wind up with the Clips? Did he
The
wind up with?
Clippers to the
That's
Clippers.
a
Yep.
great move. That is a fucking roster for you. Jesus Christ. Can you imagine if that son of a bitch, John Wall, was ever healthy? Holy shit. Good
You see,
God.
that's a guy. Maybe you get him as a backup too. You know, you might want to say, "Hey, the guy is
Fucking John
hungry."
Wall's one of the most talented players of all time. This
He
fucking guy
is.
was unbelievable.
He
Holy
was. Yeah,
shit. Hasn't played in like 2 years.
I know. It's a guy where
Fucking
if you're like,
sad.
"Hey, come here for veterans minimum and come off the bench and play 10 minutes for us." Are you
Yeah, do what
interested?
Cliff Livingston did.
So I think that's an excellent move. And they also, what was the other move that they had? They got John Collins is another front, athletic front court guy. So I mean, they look really interesting next year.
Yeah.
The Clippers with that right there. I don't
This
know.
is this
Obviously, with Kawhi and James Harden, that's what it's going to come down to ultimately.
and,
But you
and
got some
this is what we talk
versatility
about
there.
again. This is what we talk about again, like how competitive it is. So like the Celtics could be in the playing game. Now they did start to self-destruct the roster on purpose, but still, they could be in that damn game again all of a sudden. Because if you look, the Sixers could rise up. The Pacers aren't totally done yet. The Cavs will be there. The Knicks are there. Orlando and Detroit. That's 6 teams. So all of a sudden, you're fighting your ass off in some fucking playing game on a Wednesday night in April. So how quick it goes.
It does.
It's how fast it goes. And now the Sixers are going to be right back in the mix. Um, it's going to be crazy what
Well, we
happens
talked
here.
about it. The two teams that we've mentioned on this show that might be under the radar and slept on are the 76ers and the Raptors. Those are two teams next year
Yeah,
that might be fighting for a playoff spot next year.
yeah. I will say, I don't think Detroit has done enough in this offseason. I don't think they're that far away. I don't think they've been aggressive. I know they got some gambling issues there. It's a big situation,
Oh, the Malik Beasley thing right there. Yeah, that's
especially since that kid was missing a ton of open shots in the playoffs. Really makes you wonder. But at the
plus
same
some of
time,
his defensive highlight clips, Uncle Dave, are something to be desired. That's
yeah, I tell you what though, if they went out and made it a couple of pieces, that team's right there.
if you're
I
the
don't, I,
if you're the Pistons, though, you might be like, look, we're a young enough team where we're just gonna rely on player development and growth naturally next year. But I hear what you're saying, though.
sure,
You
but
maybe want to make a move or
go.
two.
There's definitely some guys who are cheaper on the cheaper end, and you could just say, hey, listen, man, you're a veteran, come for
For what
the
it's worth,
come for
Uncle
the
Dave,
mid.
Karis LeVert, they signed him, so I don't know if he's
That is a
got
good pickup. He can
that's
score the ball. They need a
yep.
little bit more scoring, but that team is ready.
Yes.
That team's ready to hum. And I tell you what, once Suggs comes back and Bane for Orlando, holy shit, they re-signed one of the Wagners, and now they got Paolo. I mean, that shit's gonna be
Yes.
real.
Yeah, they'll be humming next year, I think, the Magic.
So
That's a
the Orlando
55 win
Magic
team
are
next year, I think, if they stay
yeah,
healthy.
they're gonna be really fun to watch. I still think the Cavs should keep that team together, although they're gonna lose my Wahoo there. They're gonna lose the Who's, but they're gonna keep they decided to keep jeez, their decision to let go of Ty Jerome and keep what the hell's his name was a strange decision because Ty Jerome had a great year
Yeah,
from
Ty
it.
Jerome, he signed with the Grizzlies. Yep, that's a good move for
Yeah,
Memphis.
that's a good move for them. But the thing is, like, the playoffs did expose how different the regular season is from the playoffs
Sure did.
with a guy like Ty Jerome because
Two
again,
different seasons.
now they totally prepared differently. And like I said, it's one day to prepare, and the guys are worried about their meals and whatever they're doing and getting to the club. They're not paying attention to the scouting report.
I think Uncle Dave also one of these under the radar moves. Luke Cornett, the Spurs signed him to a 4-year deal. That's another move. I think the Spurs are
Yeah.
right on the
The
cusp, and
Spurs,
having some
yeah.
front court depth that could help them a lot.
Yeah, they got to get Castle going. They got to get Harper and Castle, and obviously they got Wemby and things like that. But if they could I think they just need to add another veteran to babysit a little bit. Maybe a veteran guard. I mean, there was talk of Chris Paul again, but if I was Chris Paul, I'd go back there. But at the same time, like go get a veteran guard. Because that team is right there, but they're just still way too young. But they just need to be patient. You got Castle, you got Wemby, and you got Harper now. So you got these like OKC. With their three guys, they're so young. I mean, and even SGA is a lot older than any of those guys we just mentioned for the Spurs, but still. You got Chet, you got Williams, and you got, SGA. They're going to be around for a couple of years.
That
They're going to have
nucleus
another
right
three or
there.
4 years
Yep.
together at
Yep.
least.
As long as it's healthy, that nucleus is certainly
Absolutely. And they
gonna
got
be
to, and
a player.
they got to go out and find a way. And here's the problem with the system. I don't like the way the cap is structured. It should encourage you to be able to keep your guys. My problem is that a team like OKC right now is probably watching their summer league team thinking, who could we cut and who could we keep in
Exactly
replace
right.
of who we
Yep.
cut?
Yep.
And that kind of sucks because I wouldn't mind seeing this team become something for a 3 or 4 year thing and see what happens. And go from there and see if we can, see if we can get something going. You get a little hate for a dynasty or maybe a little love for a dynasty.
If you're the Thunder right now, you're looking for a guy you could find as a solid eighth or ninth man right now, and you're looking for
Yeah,
just
and
an
then you
excellent
ship one of
rotation
these other
player.
fuckers out.
Yeah, exactly. If you
And
get them
I
on the
want to see
cheap.
what
Yep.
Indiana does with Neesmith because he's a hell of a player. That's a guy that if I was a team like San Antonio, I'd be all over his ass. I don't know
Well,
how
he's
much
like a
more money
younger
they got.
version of Drew Holiday, right? He's a guy who could push you over the edge if you're able to get him and not give up too
Yeah.
much.
Plus, he's athletic. He can guard. He's
Hit
strong.
the
He
three
can
ball.
get hot as a shooter.
Yep.
I would, there's a lot of teams that would love to have that, and I know that Orlando could definitely use a guy like that. And they say they picked up Bain, but you can't have enough depth in that situation. That's why these summer league games have become so important,
Oh
and
yeah,
that's why the
if you're a
draft.
GM, I think this is where you make your money in these summer
Well,
leagues and
this is how you
free
find these
agents.
guys. This is where you find a Lou Dort. And this
It's
is
their
where you
Super Bowl.
find,
Yep, exactly.
yeah, this
Yep.
is where you find these guys, and these are the guys that help you win. And now what's going to happen is this is such a copycat league. You'll see that everybody will run out and try to play 9 or 10 guys. And so everybody, even teams that don't have 9 or 10 guys, teams that really only have 7 guys, will try to play 9 or 10, and they'll get their ass kicked for it. It's like the teams that try to play the
People are
way.
talking about Uncle Dave with the pace of the game now. You need at least 9 or 10 bodies then if you're going to play that
Absolutely.
pace. It's the
Well,
truth.
the problem is though, you have to make sure you have the right 9 or 10, or else you can't play that way.
Exactly.
We all like to run the triangle, but we don't have Mike and Scotty,
That's
Shaq
right.
and Kobe.
That's right.
So let me know how the triangle worked for the fucking Knicks. Didn't
Well,
work dick.
that's one of the best quotes from Chuck Daly.
Yeah, yeah. Triangle works with Mike and Scotty.
Right.
So
Right.
my point is, everybody ran out and tried to be the Warriors, and some of these teams are, like that game we talked about in our first podcast together, the Bulls and the
Yeah, the
Jazz shot
bowl.
like
Yeah,
100
I know.
threes.
I know exactly.
So
What
I
are you
mean,
doing?
you don't have Clay and Steph, so just shut the fuck up and move the ball. It's the same thing here. We're gonna have a situation where everybody's gonna go out and think they have 9 or 10. Well, the Knicks might have 8. They might not have 9 or 10. I think personally Tyler Kolek could play. I thought he should have played this year. But the same situation, I mean, like,
You
do
have
you
to make
have
him a
9 or 10?
rotational player next year. It's like that's
Yeah,
what
well,
you
you have to find out if you have 9 or 10. That's the thing. So, can Toronto play 9 or 10? Probably not. Can, the Sixers play 9 or 10? Probably not. So, like, yeah, Indiana's going to be missing a couple of bodies, so maybe they can't play 9 or 10. The kid from Indiana, the center, their backup center, is he good enough? Is the kid Bradley from Carolina good enough to maybe fill in there for Miles Turner?
You have to
No, because
find out. I
Bradley,
think you have to find out next season, though. That's what you have
yeah,
to do. You have to
But
play these
Bradley's
guys.
Bradley's not a jump shooter, but the other kid banged a couple of threes versus the Knicks. He sent the Knicks packing in Game 6. So, you can do that, but again, it's how
Can
you
you
want to
find a guy
play.
like Thomas Bryant, Uncle Dave? That's what you need to be able to do. Can you find a
Yeah,
guy
but that's the problem though. Like, do you still want to play that way? If it's like again, it's such a copycat league. When Chuck Daly came along and beat the shit out of everybody else started beating the shit out of people. So like, and then they got away from that. So like, you have to
Yeah, the Knicks
realize
and the
it
Pacers
is
then adopted that. They're like, we're going to play like that.
right. So now you got to ask yourself, is everybody going to try to play 9 or 10? But again, my high school team this year, we have to play fast because we're tiny, but that doesn't mean we're going to be able to play fast. We should, but you got to be able to get the ball off the backboard to play fast. So that's the problem. So you have to ask yourself all these things, and you have to ask yourself, can I play that way, or am I just going to be, chasing fool's gold, playing a style I really can't play?
It's interesting. One of your mottos, you're always deeper than you think you are, but that
Yep,
doesn't necessarily mean, though, we play a fast
9 or
style.
10 is tough. Tough to be 9 or 10 deep.
Right, exactly. Even if you think
No,
you're deeper than you are, but it's
9 or 10 is
it's
a big number.
it's not just that. Like you said, it's the style of play. Not everybody's equipped to play 9 or 10 and play fast necessarily. So we'll see what happens
And I
with
really think
these teams.
the key to 9 or 10 is your point guard, backup point guard.
Yeah, I agree with
So
you. Who's the floor general for us, and what's the IQ of our guys?
because TJ McConnell comes in as a backup and pushes the ball. He gets better downhill than Halliburton does. And again, OKC, they had a couple of different guys that could push the ball. And so that makes it important. But at the same time, you have to have 9 or 10. Now, can you work into that? You have to be willing to sacrifice a couple of games during regular season, which is what I thought a guy like they should do with Joker. I don't think you should play to have the 4 or the 5 seed with a team like him. I would rather have him get a couple of minutes, maybe be a little fresher in the playoffs. That doesn't mean they would have won. It's just a summation of mine. But you have to build your bench. It's not something that happens overnight. That's where the Knicks picking up Clarkson. This move is going under the radar. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, I agree. Then some other moves here, Uncle Dave, that I think are of note with the Denver Nuggets trading Michael Porter Jr. for Cameron Johnson. And I think that's a good move for the Nuggets. I liked Michael Porter, but the back and the shoulder and a little
That's
too
right. It's Johnson,
inconsistent.
not Thomas. Cam Johnson was once a very highly thought after player with the Suns, was he not?
Yes, and here's the thing, Uncle Dave. He's his last 4 seasons, he's been a very good scorer. I mean, this last year he averaged 19 points a game. So this is a guy, and he shoots 48% from the field. So last season, so I think he's an excellent player.
What happened? Now, why did the Suns get him out of there?
It was a trade. I'm think it was he was with the Suns from 2019 to
Yeah, they
2022.
go, the Suns go to the finals with that team and then bust up the whole fucking team. I don't get it.
Yeah, and then they trade him in 22-23. He was a part of, I think, the Kevin Durant deal.
Jesus Christ, look at that
So
shit. Oh my
they
God.
they let go of a promising young player. He's only 28, Uncle Dave, and he's an excellent scorer. So I think the
Where's
Nuggets.
Bradley Beal going to be? Speaking of the Suns, where the hell's Beal going to
Yeah,
go?
I don't know if anyone wants him though. That's the thing. I
He's
don't
got to
know.
come down off that money.
He's I
I don't
think
know.
he's got to restructure his contract and accept a lesser role. If he does that, then he's excellent value.
I think the Suns have had the worst offseason so far.
They have. Well, I mean, it's like what they did with Brooklyn with Kevin Durant, Kyrie, and James Harden. That set the franchise back. It's the same thing that
Yeah.
happened with the Suns now. Right? It's been a debacle. So now the Suns are in terrible shape right now.
If I'm the Suns, I hate to say it.
I would
I
auction
break
Booker
down.
off.
Exactly.
I'd blow the whole thing up completely. I agree.
Right. I break it all down.
I'd start over
Break.
completely.
I
Yep.
break it all down.
Because
He's not
Booker
really a
right now,
leader anyway.
he's at the highest value you're going to get him right now. You're not going to get him any
Yeah.
better in another year or
And
two.
he's not
So
and he's not this great leader either. I know, but
he's
it's
not.
Booker.
He's not.
He's not this
Not.
great stud. Doesn't guard. I mean, like I get rid of his ass now and
No, I
go
don't. I
get
don't look
something
at him
better.
as like a Jason Tatum or a Gilgeous Alexander. He's not
Nope.
that kind of player.
Nope. Nope.
He's not obviously a young Dwayne Wade
No.
or LeBron or obviously I know Paul
No.
Pierce. He's not one of those type of guys. Is what I'm saying.
No.
So,
So let him go. Not Kobe. Let him go.
but Cam Johnson, Uncle Dave. I mean, his last 5 seasons, he's averaged plus 13 points a game on 47% shooting. So this is a guy who
This is where it
scores
drives
at a
you
great
crazy,
clip.
though. So the Suns, this GM, I hope these GMs get fired sometimes, but
Taking pictures.
This guy broke up a championship level team, and now he just totally blew it up. This guy was 2-0 in the finals. So you don't blow that shit up. You tweak it. You don't blow it up. Everybody thinks that this stuff happens just because now you want it to happen. It's very delicate. You don't sit there and start ripping shit apart.
Yeah.
You tinker with it. Right? You don't just because you got to redo your bathroom. You don't throw down the whole house for Christ's sake.
Right.
What the hell is wrong with these people? I mean, like, so you get rid of Johnson, you get rid of the big fella. I mean, like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, you were 2 games away from a championship. You don't.
And
Yeah.
that team had youth. You had a young Booker, you had a young Johnson, you had a young eight, and then all of a sudden you get stupid. You pick up Bradley Beal, who again, there's no
Never
league
that
in the
guy.
world
Never
that
that
you
guy.
could put up less numbers that mean shit than the NBA. Alex English, Carmelo Anthony, Bradley Beal. Great. You put up a ton of fucking numbers. Congratulations. None of you never sniffed the goddamn playoff championship.
Name me a
None of you.
memorable Bradley Beal bucket. You can't.
Oh, God.
You
Give
can't.
me a break. I mean, nice player. Gilbert
Right.
Arenas, nice player. Name me the shit you ever did.
But
I
are
don't
they
wanna
worth
hear-
are they worth the price tag? That's everything. What's
No,
the price tag? They're
they're
not
not.
worth that. Yeah.
The only way a Bradley Beal's worth something is if you have one of those supreme leaders where you go in there and somebody goes, hey, do me a favor. move the ball, shoot it when you're open, and help us win
Well,
games. Like
we talked
Joker.
about it. If you could get him for a great price, and if you're the Nuggets, and you can get him off
Yeah,
the
take
bench
him.
or as like your fourth, third, or
Yeah.
fourth option, that'd be an excellent move. Yeah.
Yeah, but if he thinks that he's that guy, if he still thinks I'm first team All NBA, which he's not,
Right.
then you got to get him
Or
the
if
hell
you're the
out of there.
Celtics, if you maybe with the year without Tatum, that could maybe he could plug in well there. But like you said, it's all about his mindset and his
He's
expectations.
making like 50 million, isn't he?
Yeah, he's making a ton of money, and he's also
Oh,
he's the only guy, Uncle Dave, besides LeBron, to have a no trade clause in his contract. Can you believe that?
oh
Not
my
Giannis
God.
Antetokounmpo, not Luka Doncic, Bradley Beal, and LeBron are the only two guys that have that.
I just don't get it. Like some of these guys, I don't know where they live. They live in fantasy world. And like, don't you want to win championships? I mean, this is why I know the fans suck today, but this is why the fans give the players grief. You're making like 40, $50 million a year and you're a pig on the court. I mean, for 2 years I watched all these morons on these NBA group chats on freaking Facebook. I kept telling the Suns are gonna suck. 2 years in a row they sucked. I kept telling the Lakers were gonna suck. They sucked.
What you said, Uncle David, is true. It's not 2K basketball. All right,
It's
there's
not
one ball
fantasy
out there.
basketball.
Right,
It's
right.
not fantasy basketball. Numbers don't win you the games. You have to win the games organically. You
Well,
don't get to go, well,
we talked about
let's
it
see.
even when the Heat put their nucleus together with LeBron and Dwayne Wade and Bosh. You're like, that takes some time. That doesn't just gel in 2 seconds
Right.
right there. That
It doesn't
takes
happen overnight. And then, it's still the guys like Birdman who help you win those games. It's still the
yeah,
guys
Shane
like
Battier,
Haslam.
Ray Allen coming in with a good mindset. Those are the things that
Yeah, it's
Norris Cole.
it's Chalmers, it's those guys. It's yeah, you got three studs there, we know that, but it's those other guys that help you win these games.
As
Like
Shaquille O'Neal
again,
said,
look,
the others.
yeah. Well, look at OKC. OKC is the perfect example. Shea did not shoot the ball. I think Shea was 11 for 28 maybe in his last game or 10 for 28. So they needed some other guys to make shots and they did it.
But I will say this, Uncle Dave, the Nuggets between Valanciunas and Johnson, they've won the offseason. That right there is good. And Bruce Brown as well, adding that. So those three
Yeah.
pieces right there,
Yeah.
that is the
Yeah.
splash they needed. What you've said, where's the urgency with the Nuggets front office? Well,
Oh,
obviously they must have heard it. Because I think that right there is good enough next year. If they don't do anything else, let's say, that right there is excellent enough, I think.
yeah, but like where was there like urgency to go? We get Joker for like 4 or 5 more years. That's good. So you got to get another champion. If
What
you don't
you
get one,
said, you're like, this doesn't last forever, man. This
no,
lasts forever.
if you don't get another championship out of this guy, it's a
Oh, it's a
failure.
catastrophe. It's a catastrophe.
He's Aaron Rodgers. You don't get you get one title out of Aaron Rodgers. That's a failure. You get one title out of Peyton Manning in Indianapolis. That's a failure.
It
I'm
is.
sorry.
It is a
You
failure.
don't get those fucking guys too often.
No, you do not.
I mean, this guy is, jeez, he's a
A
top 20
unicorn.
player of all time.
He's
My
a
vote.
unicorn. There's no question. You have to get a couple championships out of this
Yeah,
guy.
you got to at least like try to ring the bell. Like last year, didn't even. I mean, like, so you get rid of the coach, but you didn't even try to ring the bell.
Well, I think Uncle Dave, that's another thing I think we should discuss right now. David Animal, do you go next season with him? Do they look for a new coach? I'm not sure what they're going to do with that right
You
there. I
got to
haven't
keep
heard
Allen.
anything about them looking for a coach, so I think they're going to go with him next year.
Yeah, you got to go with him. You had him in Game 7 on the doorstep,
Right.
and they had no bench. So as
And
long
he
as
was thrown in a
Brown,
tough position. 4 games left in the
right,
regular season. I thought he did a pretty damn good job.
he did. I think the other guy they missed was Green too, but the fact that they got Brown back, so like they got the two Browns now. They got Aaron Gordon's got to be healthy for that hamstring can rise up. You got a backup now for Joker.
And
I
Cam
think
Jones,
it
Uncle
should,
Dave, he's an excellent player. I'm telling you, that's an excellent move for them right
it
there.
is. And you know
That's a
what?
guy. That's a guy next year. He could have like 10 games where he has 30 points for them next year.
Yep. And you know what?
Guy.
He was coached too in college. He played for Roy Williams. He was coached, even though he's a Carolina wuss. We know that he was coached. So, like, the bottom line is this is a guy that knows how to play.
Yes.
And like I said, Phoenix broke up that roster and just so foolish. They went with this formula that they thought would work, and they got their ass handed to them. They had three guys who all needed the ball, nobody to pass it. So, I still would like to see Denver go get a backup point guard for Murray because I don't know if the two Browns can run the point. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. And you don't want Joker bringing the ball up every day either. It's just taxing on the body. Got to
Yes.
go find one more guy off that bench to run that point.
I agree. You need a guy at the twilight of his career, like an Andre Miller or a Derek Fisher, that kind of guy might,
Yeah,
to do the point job.
yeah.
for
Or
you.
even just go get a professional backup. Go get one of the Jones
Well,
brothers.
you talked about it. Why, if you're not a guy like Chris Paul, Uncle Dave, do you not say, hey, I'm going to humble myself and I'm going to play with Jokic and back up Murray? That's what you should do if you're a guy like Chris Paul. You
Yeah.
want a
Well,
chance to win a ring?
he's probably thinking about that right now. He probably is, and I'm hoping he makes the right choice because I'd
I mean,
like to
that would
see
be
him.
an excellent move if he did that. I would
It
be
would.
thrilled if he did that one.
Yeah, I tell him I'll play for
Because
four
you look at
million.
his
Let's
career
go.
totally differently if he does that. If he does that and he wins a championship with them, that'd be a
Yeah, well,
totally
so
different
many
story.
guys have done that. I mean, like you weren't born yet, but in the early '80s, Bob McAdoo was a three-time scoring champ.
Right.
Totally went to the Lakers and came off the bench, backed up Kareem,
Well,
and
even though he won
shot
Uncle
trail.
Dave, a guy like Ray Allen, he took a lesser role to play with the Heat and he won a
Yeah,
championship with them.
right. He was a shell of himself, but he still hit the biggest shot for that championship run. And there's been a bunch of guys. Michael Thompson, Clay's dad did the same thing as a backup for the Lakers, backing up Kareem.
When a guy reduces his role and the amount that he has to exert, a guy can find a second wind in his career, and that can happen. So I think that Chris Paul, if he does that, he can certainly play at a high level still. If you put him in that role and say, "Hey, Chris, I need 15 elite minutes from you," and he could still do that, no doubt.
Plus, the bottom line is you got to have the second unit guy you can run your offense through it, and Paul could get you some buckets. Not for himself necessarily with his mid-range jumper, but maybe he'll run a good team for you. And the bottom line is, you gotta have someone to score with that second group while Joker and Murray are getting rest.
The Nuggets
Uh,
now, though, they're a deeper team with now Cam Johnson and Bruce Brown and Valanciunas, Jonas Valanciunas. They're a much deeper team and a much elite scoring team now
yeah,
with that
yeah.
right.
Now they're a good eight deep right now. And if that other kid develops, the kid Wesley that they had this year, forget it. They'll be nine deep if he continues to grow, if he continues to improve.
Oh, absolutely. And a guy like Christian Braun is only going to get better still.
Yep.
Watson had
Now
some excellent moments in that
that's
last
something about Watson.
postseason.
My bad. I didn't
Yeah,
mean Wesley. Watson.
yeah, Watson.
Watson keeps developing. He's athletic as hell. If they could get something out of him,
Hmm.
this could be they could be nine deep, but they got to commit to that. And again, they're watching this G League too, and there's guys out there that can run this backup point for you. You telling me that Zion James can't run a backup point for you?
Hmm.
He definitely could. Zion James can defend. Already got an NBA body. Why not? Why not find out?
No, it's those teams that are at the top of the league record wise. You're looking for the one of those two nuggets, no pun intended, where you can that can push you over the edge, a free agent or a late round guy, and see what happens.
Yeah,
Obviously,
it
I
gives you
can't wait for next
it,
season for the Nuggets, though. I think they're just
it
going to be tons of
extends
fun to watch.
it extends your bench in every way.
And another notable free agent move, Uncle Dave, D'Angelo Russell to the Mavericks. And Dallas next year, I think, is going to be such a fun watch. Obviously, with them taking Cooper Flag, our Duke guy, the Mavericks next year are just going to be absolute must-watch TV. Obviously, when Kyrie gets back and Clay and Anthony Davis, I think that's going to be a
Not a big
ball to watch
D'Angelo
them.
Russell fan because he's going to go in there and think it's about him because he is that nuts.
Well, if he does that, he's an idiot. Comes in that situation, just realize what you have in front of you and what you can do for it.
Yeah, he's going to drive me nuts. That guy. He's going to
Just have
think
a
it's
head on your
about him
shoulders, please. I know
because
that
he's
might
going to
be
be the
asking
guy who
too
thinks,
much.
well, he's going to be like F Cooper Flag. I'm going to show him what D-Lo can do.
Right. Well, that's the
You
type
know
of move,
that's
Uncle
coming.
Dave. If you're Nico Harrison, you have to be quick on the cut button right there if he's going to have that mindset. And
Well,
Jason Kidd, uh,
that's where Jay Kidd's got to sit on him a little bit.
right, right. Well, Jason Kidd, I think, is a guy he's definitely going to have respect in that locker room. He's a guy who's just
Yeah, because these guys grew up watching Jason Kidd.
exactly. He's one of their contemporaries. He's not a guy who played 40 years ago. He was just a guy who just hype.
Jason Kidd was better than any of these guys.
Oh my God. Jason Kidd, folks, you have to watch his highlights on YouTube. It's just ridiculous some of the passes this guy made. We talked about Uncle Dave, him taking the Nets to the finals those two seasons, unbelievable. Might be one of the
He
most
is the yeah.
underappreciated feats ever in the NBA.
But the other thing about him is people don't realize he's the antithesis of the cheap numbers guy. He's the antithesis of Alice English, Carmelo
Right.
Anthony,
He's the opposite of
and
that.
uh,
Right. Yes.
and this guy's a great defender. He was a great rebounder. He was a great passer. And later in his years, he became a jump shooter to play off of Dirk, and he did it. And so he's the antithesis of that. So people, when they look at his numbers, go, "Well, what the hell is that?" Well, you have to watch the game. The guy controlled the whole freaking game,
He's one of the
and he
more
did not.
fascinating players in NBA history. There's no doubt. Yeah.
Definitely is. He is very good. In college, he broke my Blue Devils' heart in Hurley's last game, but very, very good player. And again, great defender all the way to the end. And the people forget the Mavericks begin that run, and he's covering Kobe in the first round of the playoffs. They begin that run versus the Lakers, and he covers Kobe, and he's not a young man at that point.
No.
And Kobe's still lighting it up, obviously.
Also,
So,
the other thing, well,
you
Dave,
know,
he never missed this guy. He never missed games either. He was hardly
no,
ever hurt.
he's a killer. People don't realize how strong he is.
Yeah.
We can't say the inappropriate term blank strength, but he had that. And He was just had great hands, very, very strong hands. He had vice grips.
Well,
And
people don't
again,
realize
great
how big
passer.
Jason Kidd is too. He's 6'4", 200 pounds. This guy. This guy
Yeah,
was
he's
solid as a
solid. If you
rock.
look at his arms and legs, he's cut. He's a fire hydrant guy. He's like Kyrie, but taller. So he's just solid. So you know, there's so much there for him. And so he was just a great player, much better than the numbers. And
Rick
again, you have
Carlisle
to
said he's the smartest player he ever coached. He's a top 5 floor general ever. There's no question about
oh,
that as far as
definitely.
point guards
Definitely is. And
go.
it's funny. People talk about the greatest point guards of all time. And again, you see it all the time in the off season with these chat rooms and shit. And people don't even have them in the top 10. I'm like, well,
Oh, it's
they go
ridiculous.
they'll stop putting up numbers. They go, take your numbers and shove them up your ass. Jason Kidd probably should have won MVP a couple of times. Like I said, taking the Nets to the finals twice
That's
is,
understandable, Dave.
ridiculous.
He's in a league at the time where Tim Duncan and Kobe Bryant and Shaquille O'Neal and Dirk Nowitzki are in their prime. That's just tough to win MVP. I mean, you look at
Yes,
his
it
numbers
is.
though; it's incredible. I mean, he averaged double-digit assists for like 10 seasons. So I mean, this guy was just ridiculous.
He was a beast. He was such a beast. And like I said, great defensive player. Great
And like
defensive
you
player.
said, he changed his game. He started out as a guy who was not a great outside shooter, but he became pretty
Yeah.
consistent later in his career. He was a guy you
Yeah. But
couldn't leave open, that's for sure.
he was the shit. I mean, again, like his first couple of years in the league, him, Jamal, and Jimmy Jackson in Dallas there. It didn't work out with those three. I hoped it would. But obviously they were all too immature at that time. Again, Jamal was the scorer amongst the bunch, and Jay Kidd and Jimmy Jackson were more passers, but it didn't work out. We thought it would, but they were just too young. They needed a veteran, and they didn't do it.
That can happen. And Uncle Dave will talk about Nick Batum. The Clippers re-signed him. And I will tell you, this last playoff run with the Clippers, it
Great
just seemed
pickup.
like Nick Batum hit every big shot. This guy, he just seemed like every time
Yeah.
he was making a big play for them offensively. So I think
Well,
that's a great re-signing
If
for them as
James
well.
Harden would ever show up, if
Oh
James
God.
Harden would ever show up, this team would win a fucking championship.
And plus, Uncle Dave, you're playing alongside Kawhi Leonard now too, who's looking pretty good. So yeah, there's no excuse. This team, the signings they made this offseason, if you're the Clippers, you have to be a team that's if you're not in the Western Conference Finals next year, you figure it's a lost
But
season.
that's the problem. We got 4 or 5 teams that have to look
Yes.
at it that way. And the bad
Uh-huh.
news is, again, and this is why the NBA ratings suck, is because again, this cheapens the regular season because Kawhi, James Harden's going to be at the club a couple of nights.
Oh God.
Kawhi's gonna have to load manage. So right there, you're gonna have to be a 5 or a 6 seed, maybe a 4 seed if you're lucky. And then all of a sudden, it's you don't need it necessarily, but the home court advantage we saw this playoff season was not big. I think the home team only won about 55% of the
That
games.
was it was really definitely an eyebrow raiser. Uncle Dave. A lot of home teams were dropping the ball in some of these games here. Road teams were
So
definitely
yeah,
having
we,
the
we've seen that home court advantage and higher seeds is not as important, and this is what we're talking about. It's because of the situation we're talking about now, where guys really believe in load management. So a guy like Kawhi, who's had a checkered past of injuries, obviously you got to rest him. Like I said, Harden, who the hell knows? Same with a guy like Joel Embiid. You're going to have to be smart here. You have to be smart with LeBron this year if you're the Lakers. So again, you're purposely going to lower your expectations. At the same time, we did talk about the Nuggets should have done that a little bit with Joker, not sit him, but play him a little bit less minutes and maybe say to yourself, all right, I might not win 55 games, I'll win 51 games.
it's all about having those guys healthy though when it comes postseason time. That's really what it's about.
It sure is. And that's where, again, I never remember this many Achilles when you're wearing high tops. I'm just saying. Nick Van Exel agrees with me.
Tim Hardaway also talked about it, Uncle Dave, about the high tops, maybe that being a factor as well. Too many guys wearing low
Support. It
top
was support for
sneakers.
your ankles. That's why we started wearing high tops. We
Yeah.
weren't doing it for, they're fucking ugly as hell. We weren't doing it for style.
Right.
First
Yeah.
Jordans weren't low tops. The first Jordans are high tops.
Yes, exactly. And I don't want to hear anything about being more explosive or anything. Nick the Quick, no one was as quick as him.
Oh God,
That
Tim
guy was a
Hardaway
blur.
Jr.
Yeah, Tim Hardaway. Yeah.
Tim Hardaway Sr. was,
None of
oh
these
my
guys today
God.
would be staying in front of those guys. Those guys are getting to the
Kevin
no matter what.
Johnson and Isaiah Thomas are two of the quickest guys I've ever seen
I
in my
know.
life. Allen Iverson.
Yep.
Allen Iverson. Oh my God.
Yeah.
He could
Yeah.
turn
So
off the
I'm
he
not
could turn
buying
off
that
the
it's
light.
about the weight of the sneaker or anything like
Yeah,
that.
he could turn off the light and get in bed before it
All
got
right, the
dark.
Great
That's how
Muhammad
quick
Ali.
Allen Iverson was.
Oh, he was. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, this is Allen Iverson was so quick. I'm not a big fan. I appreciate his effort, but so quick.
Oh yeah, he was. He
Just letting
actually
the
was
dogs in
definitely
and
fun to
out here on the
watch.
podcast.
Oh yeah, we're okay. They've made an appearance
We're
numerous
dog
times
friendly.
in Jersey. Yes, no doubt. I
We're
thought
dog
okay,
friendly
we'll
here on
end
the
the show
podcast.
with a rule the NBA is going to try in the summer league for end of the quarter, half court or full court heaves. So it's going to be a player if they take a shot from beyond 36 feet within the last 3 seconds of a quarter, it will not count as a miss. It won't negatively impact their individual field goal percentage. Now, I hate this rule because if it goes in, we know that's going to count. So you're telling me if they miss it, it's not going to count as a field goal attempt. Now, I'm for this is what I thought of when I saw this coming out with a category where you make a mark of a guy taking a shot like that. So it's not considered like a regular field goal attempt.
What's
I'm
the
for
big
that.
deal if you take so many shots during the season? What is it, 0.01 less? I mean, give me a break.
And then how many times are you taking those shots? I mean, come on, is it really affecting your field goal percentage that badly?
I mean,
So,
what the hell are we arguing about? This is some jackass agent in arbitration bitching about field goal percentage. We're talking about a guy taking
what are your
10,000.
thoughts, Uncle Dave, about this summer league rule they're going to try?
I mean, KD probably take. Let's just take KD for example. Probably takes 20 shots a night times 80 games. It's 1,600 shots. So we're gonna worry about three or four of them? Come on, guys. What the fuck are we doing here? Adam Silver is the worst goddamn commissioner. He sucks. I mean, I've said it before. I'll say it again. This guy sucks. He followed David Stern, and Stern still has it going on from when he left it. But this guy has just been a total idiot from drawing shit on the floor to the play in, like to the play in I like, but like the play cup during the
Oh
season
yeah,
is
that's a stupid look. We got the floor painted green and blue and
oh
red.
my
It
god,
just
and,
looks
he's, and
hideous.
the fucking and the fuck it's like Major League Baseball. The Yankees were wearing somebody was wearing green uniforms. The Red Sox were wearing green
Yeah,
uniforms
what are
last
you
week.
doing?
I was like, what the hell are we doing with this shit? I know you're trying to sell shit, but put your whore mentality away for 6 seconds, will you, guy, and check yourself.
I think the most unforgivable thing Adam Silver has done is the All-Star Game weekend stuff. It's just been
Oh,
he's ruined that completely. I mean, the All-Star Game format, he's just totally screwed that. I think they're
yeah,
finally doing the right thing now.
they
World
are.
versus USA. Let's do it that way. I agree with
I
you. There's
think we're
enough
gonna lose.
All-Stars now from foreign players to the US players. Try it and go with that and see how that goes.
I think we're gonna lose.
I think so too.
I think we're in
I
big
think
trouble.
so too. You're not
I mean,
taking
who
a
we got?
certain continent, you're taking the rest of the world versus USA. I think that's surpassed
Who we
us.
got? KD, Steph, and LeBron. Is that what we got?
Yeah, Anthony Davis you have as well, Anthony Edwards. Trying to think
I
off the
tell you
top of
what.
my head. Tell you,
I
it's gonna
tell
be
you.
tough.
The last thing I'll leave you with on the show before we go, though, I'm so excited that we didn't have to hear during the playoffs anything about LeBron, Steph, or
Yeah,
KD.
we talked
Now,
about that a little bit. Yeah.
a lot of people are talking about the triumvirate leaving and the changing of the guard in the NBA, and I can't tell you enough how fucking happy I am about it. Uh, I was happy when Mike left. I'm happy when these guys left because it gets so goddamn nauseating.
Yeah, it gets tedious.
It,
Yeah.
it is disgusting. Bob Costas would say, I wonder if this is Michael Jordan's last time he takes a drink. Is this my, I mean, it
Yeah.
got to be bigger than the game, and nobody should be bigger than the game.
No.
And it's disgusting. And so, you know, it drives you crazy. And that's why some guys just walk out. Like Larry Bird didn't tell you he was leaving, he just left.
That's it. Like Tim Duncan,
It's
same thing. Yep.
right, because they don't want to hear about that. They're not those kind of guys. So it's so refreshing though in the playoffs to not have to hear about LeBron's excuses or God damn it, Steph Curry's excuses or anybody else's excuse. It was so refreshing to not have to deal with that. It was great. So me for one, I thought it was awesome.
I agree with you. I think it was nice to see some new blood get in there and have some guys create their own storylines. I think that was a breath of fresh air for sure. And you're going to have a guy like Gilgeous-Alexander. He's an exciting young player. Definitely can't wait to see what he does. And that team is just so young. And the Pacers, obviously, it's very unfortunate Halliburton going down, but I think they'll be back as long as they can keep him and build around him. It seems like Indiana's done the right thing as far as the front office goes. I mean, to have
Yeah.
Neesmith and Miles Turner, I mean, that whole thing, they definitely put that together the right way. So I don't doubt that they can be back again.
Just thinking about it,
What happens?
you know who else is having a crappy offseason? What the hell are the Warriors doing?
Yeah, there's nothing really been done with them
You
either.
actually telling me you're gonna run it back with that shit?
No. Yeah, you need talk about
You're gonna
Clint
run it
Capella.
back with
That's a team
nobody
that could have used a guy like him.
you're gonna run it back with nobody over 6'10"?
If they're a team like that, they should bring. I know he's he's at the end of it. A guy like Al Horford, you got to bring someone at least like that. You have to get some depth at the front court position there. You can't have
Oh
Draymond playing the
God.
five. You cannot have that.
Oh my God. And then, yeah, but again, how much is Steph making?
I'm not sure what the contract situation is, but
Yes, and then don't tell me you're interested in titles. You're making over 50 million. You're hampering your team. Don't tell me you're about the titles at this point.
and for what it's worth, Uncle Dave, they lost Pat Spencer to the Grizzlies. Not that that was addressing their front court situation, but that's the one thing I saw with the Warriors.
Didn't
But
they let go of Looney too?
Kevon Looney signed with the Pelicans.
Oh, why would you ever go to New Orleans? Zion Williamson. His birthday was yesterday. Happy birthday, you fucking underachiever motherfucker. I mean, give me a break. I mean,
Yeah,
what the
that
hell,
it's
Zion
so
Williamson?
sad with Zion Williamson. We talked about
Oh,
it because when he
God.
plays, his numbers are incredible, but he doesn't play.
It's
Gotta
so
play.
sad. So you had him, Ingram, and you had the stud from
McCollum.
Portland.
McCollum.
Holy, how do you not win with that team?
Yeah.
God damn it.
Yeah, I know it's frustrating some of these things, right? Yeah,
If
yeah.
you're New Orleans, how you not shipping this guy out of there? Because you know some idiot's going to buy it. You know somebody falls for that. If you make him available, some tool bag picks that up. You
Oh,
know
you're
it.
talking about Williamson?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're New
Yeah.
Orleans and you know if you made him available, somebody would have done it.
And they'll
You have
overpay. They'll overpay. They'll give
Yeah,
too
you
much.
got to
Yeah.
break that shit up.
Yeah.
There's nothing there anymore. Where the hell's McCollum now? And where's De'Aaron Fox? He's
De'Aaron Fox is with the Spurs.
yeah, so they're fucking loaded. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, the Spurs with Castle and him. Oh God, CJ McCollum's with the Wizards.
Oh,
So he's with a team that's absolutely going
oh
nowhere.
my God. I tell you what, the Warriors and the Suns have had the worst whole seasons. Nah,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't really
frustrating,
like what
Uncle Dave. The Pelicans, they had Trey Murphy, Zion Williamson, Brendan Ingram, McCollum. They had
I don't like what
Valanciunas
the
on the
Heat have done
team.
either. I don't like what the Heat have done.
Yeah, Miami's not done anything as well. They lost Duncan Robinson. That's the only thing that I've seen they've done.
Thank God, at least they get
Duncan
out from under that contract.
Duncan Robinson goes to the Pistons. Yeah. So, but
Shit,
the
dude.
Heat, I think unless you land Giannis Antetokounmpo, I don't see them. They're kind of in no man's land too. I feel like they're going to be a team.
Yeah, but
Obviously,
here's the thing. Adebayo and Hero don't make that much money, do they?
I don't know if it's yeah. I don't think they're not saddled. I think with the contracts there, they're just kind of in a weird situation here with Jimmy Butler kind of leaving them like that.
I'll tell you
I
what, Boston,
obviously you figure Miami's obviously a great place to go to, so you're
if
attracted
Boston's
from that.
shopping Brown, if you're Miami, you might want to get in on that. That guy's a fucking stud.
Who's that?
Brown.
Oh,
Boston's
okay.
rumor. There's been rumors that Boston was willing to listen.
Yeah, they might be. I think that God, wow, the Celtics, that's going to be a major again, there's like we talked about, there's so many teams that are kind of like in limbo. The Bucks, forget it. That's
Yeah,
totally
this
done, I
is
think.
this is the Dow Jones season coming up here. This is Dow Jones. It's up and down,
There's
man.
so they're like the teams that have got to keep an eye on next year, what the hell they're going to be doing. Obviously, I think the Pacers have the best situation out of these teams, but the Pacers are a team that I'm going to be looking at, the Heat and the Bucks. It's like what are those are three teams that were in the playoffs this year. Next year, none of them might not be in the playoffs. So it's going to be fascinating to see how those teams are in the regular season.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't know like what the hell Miami could do. If they went out and got Brown, that changes everything for them.
Oh yeah, if you get
Because
Jaylen
don't
Brown, you
forget,
pair him with Hero and Adebayo, then they're a
did they
playoff.
trade Duncan Robinson or was he a free agent?
They let me see.
Because if they dump that money, they have money. He was making a lot of money.
They did overpay for him.
Yeah, so if they got rid of that money, they're out from underneath.
Let me see.
They'll have a chance to make some cake and like spend it. Problem is, all the free agents might be gone. I mean, who's still out there? I mean, Giannis is kind of out there.
Yeah,
LeBron is
if
hinting
I'm
at.
him, I'm looking for definitely another spot. I mean, you have to if you had a healthy Damian Lillard coming back next year, I would say you run that back. But with him being God now, I don't see that becoming anything. If
Nah.
I'm him, I'm looking out of there. Now, obviously, he's been a Buck for his whole career, so it'd be kind of sad to see him go. But at the end of the day, it's like this guy wants to win another championship. Yeah. So the
Yeah.
Heat. Miami Heat guard Duncan Robinson will decline his $20 million early termination option, become a free agent. So yeah, they let him walk.
Okay, so yeah, so okay, so they didn't really get that money back. All right.
Yeah,
But they sound like they have a little bit more
Robinson will
money.
work with a team on a long-term contract to return or move elsewhere, and then he signed with the Pistons.
So now they got to find somebody else who's available who's any good. I mean, how many guys out there are really good right now? So they got Tyler here, and you got Bam, you got nothing else. You got like a roster, and I think they gave away Hawkes too.
Yeah, he wasn't playing last. He was just healthy scratches last year. I don't know what
Yeah, he
happened
was
with that.
the first year he played a lot. This year he
Yeah, I don't know
didn't, so
what
it's
the hell
weird.
happened. The Heat just had a weird situation last year.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, Heat culture gonna go right in the shitter. They don't get
Yeah,
another player.
Heat culture will be shit culture soon.
Got to get another player.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell. I mean, it was bizarre. And I mean, obviously the way they finished against the Cavaliers was disgraceful.
Oh yeah,
But they kind of so last year, Davion Mitchell. I mean, that's who they had last year. And the
true.
Rozier
He is a good
situation,
player. He is a good player. I give
the
him that.
Rozier situation, that totally fucking went to shit.
Yeah, it didn't work out. Well, we'll see. They have a little bit more money now. We'll see if they pick up any of these guys who are free. I mean, I don't know what free agents are left. They might be late. They might be closing the door after the Cavs got out, but they might be too late because
Yeah.
I thought someone said Neesmith was a free agent. I can't imagine that if he was, someone wouldn't have signed him already. I'm not sure if that was a rumor or not. Maybe he has a player option. But Neesmith, Nemhard. I mean, I'd keep my eyes open for guys who are winning players like that.
Hmm. Well,
But
we'll
you
see what
got to
happens,
see.
Uncle Dave, next year for sure. It's going to be fascinating. We still have.
Ah, it's gonna be great because again, it's the Dow Jones. It's amazing how much fluctuation is going to be. I think that the whole East could flip. You could have five new teams in the playoffs
Oh yeah,
out of 10.
and someone that was in last year, they're going to be not there next year.
Yeah, you could have. I mean, you could definitely have some teams where I mean, Toronto's going to get right back in
Oh
there.
yeah, I mean teams like the Cavaliers and the Knicks and the Pistons and the Magic, they got to be licking their chops. They're going to be wide
The
open next
Bulls,
year.
what the hell are the Bulls doing? They're sitting there.
The Cavaliers signed Lonzo Ball.
Yeah, but is he healthy?
I don't know what he can give you. Yeah,
I mean, Lonzo's not even the best ball. LaMelo's better.
he is. Well, the Charlotte
And
situation. Oh,
Charlotte looks like shit too.
yeah, they're just going to be forever in the dumpster.
But again, now we're getting to a situation here where this used to never happen in the NBA. You'd never have teams that were bad for 15 straight years. But right now, Charlotte's getting there. Charlotte's been bad for about 5 or 6 years straight
The
here.
last time I remember them in the postseason was against the Heat teams. It was like 2013, 2014 when you had Al Jefferson, you had Kemba, Josh McRoberts, Gerald
Yeah, now
Henderson.
you have
That's the last time they were up in the postseason, though.
yeah, you have them and the Wizards now have been bad for, several years. I mean,
And the Wizards, again, the last time they were in the postseason, it was the John Wall, Marcin Gortat, Bradley Beal days. That's when they were
yep.
in the
And now you
playoffs.
have it in the West, I guess the longest running no playoffs. The Jazz haven't been good in a little while.
Well, the
A couple
Jazz,
years ago
again, it
they
was
were.
like 2017, 2018 with
Yep.
Donovan Mitchell. They
Quinn
were in there.
Quinn Schneider, they were coaching there.
Yeah, so
And
they were.
Portland since McCollum and
And Lillard, yeah,
Lillard left.
they've not been that long. I think Charlotte and Washington, I think have to be the
Yeah,
longest.
so here we are. We're having a situation here where this is going to get ugly.
Yeah. LaMelo Ball. I mean, if you don't do anything next year, if you don't make any improvement, just take a lesser role and play somewhere else and play meaningful basketball.
Yeah,
It's
I
scary.
would
You're
like
like
to
six
see
years.
him.
You're like six. This is next year is like 6 years into his career. You've had nothing to show for it.
Tell you what, I would like to see LaMelo Ball go to Miami. That'd be fun.
Yeah, go there. Just lean into the whole I'm a fuckboy lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, just go down there and hang out, motherfuckers. Let them hang out.
We'll wrap it up there, Uncle Dave, though.
All right,
On that note there, all right. All right, all you
sounds
basketball
good.
fans out there, live long, prosper. May the force be with you.